The creepy white van is one of the most well-known vehicles in American history, but in 2002, it became a lethal red herring that paralyzed the FBI. While the nation's eyes were hyper-fixated on a ghost white vehicle during the D.C. sniper attacks, the real killers were hiding in plain sight in a blue Chevy Caprice, protected by a national obsession with a vehicle that did not exist. For decades, criminals had chosen the iconic white van, and the D.C. snipers used this to their advantage. So how did this white van become a national symbol of crime in the first place, and why did criminals choose this as their vehicle? October 2nd, 2002. The first sniper shot rings out in Montgomery County, Maryland. Within minutes, 911 lines light up with descriptions of a large white box truck, a vehicle with a lift gate and a rumbling engine. Police dispatchers push the alert out across the region. By the end of the night, patrol cars are pulling over every white van and delivery truck that even remotely matches the description. The next morning, headlines echo the same phrase: "White van seen fleeing scene." News anchors repeat it, and the phrase spreads like wildfire. By October 9th, the FBI's official press releases and nightly newscasts have locked onto the image: a white, windowless cargo van, the supposed mobile lair of a killer. Every new shooting triggers another wave of van sightings and traffic stops. Witnesses call in, convinced they have spotted the culprit. Task force logs fill with van-related leads, each one pulling officers farther from the real target. All the while, the blue Chevrolet Caprice, the actual sniper platform, moves quietly through the city, invisible to the search. The hunt for the white van becomes both a shield and a smokescreen, turning a cultural myth into a blind spot. Side by side, the contrast is impossible to ignore. The Ford E-Series and Chevy Express, both painted in high-gloss fleet white, boxy and windowless, tower above the average sedan. Their dimensions alone command attention: over 18 feet long, nearly 7 feet tall, with flat steel panels and sliding cargo doors. Every police bulletin and news broadcast in October 2002 pushed this silhouette into the public mind, a rolling blank slate, designed for work but reimagined as a mobile hideout. The white van became an almost universal image of threat, even as that image simplified a complex reality. Now set against that, the actual sniper car was a blue 1999 Chevrolet Caprice. 4 doors, standard trunk, low profile. Forensic photos from the FBI show its rear seat gutted, a steel platform bolted in, and a rifle aperture cut into the trunk. The Caprice is nondescript, blending into traffic, while the white van stands out as the supposed menace. Yet every official sketch, every nightly TV graphic kept showing the van, never the Caprice. The evidence is clear: the myth and the machine never matched. The real threat hid in plain sight, camouflaged by the noise of a stereotype. Confirmation bias isn't just a psychology textbook term. It is what happens when investigators, under pressure, start seeing what they expect instead of what is actually there. In the Beltway sniper case, every white van tip reinforced the idea that the killer had to be driving a boxy, windowless workhorse. Former task force detectives recall sifting through thousands of calls, each one describing the same silhouette. The more leads they chased, the more certain they became. Cognitive scientists call this a feedback loop. Each van stop made the next one seem more urgent. The official after-action review later estimated that roughly 320 officer hours, about 8% of total man-hours, were spent chasing van-related leads. That's the equivalent of a full-time detective working overtime for a month, all for a vehicle that never existed in the crime. As one investigator put it, we were hunting a ghost. Meanwhile, the blue Chevy Caprice kept circling the Beltway, invisible to a search grid built on myth. The cost wasn't just time, it was the opportunity lost, the real clues overlooked, and the window the killers needed to strike again. This is the price of a stereotype. A blind spot, measured in hours, dollars, and lives. White cargo vans line the streets of every American city, parked at curbs, idling in alleys, slipping into loading docks. Fleet records from 2002 list more than 79,000 Ford E-Series and Chevy Express vans registered in the Mid-Atlantic region alone. That is nearly one for every square mile of the Washington metropolitan area. Utility crews, delivery drivers, plumbers, and city contractors all rely on the same boxy, windowless silhouette painted in a uniform high-gloss white. The result is a kind of urban camouflage, a moving piece of infrastructure that draws little notice, even from seasoned patrol officers. When a white van pulls up to a curb, nobody glances twice. It might be dropping off office supplies or fixing a traffic light. This sheer volume creates what crime analysts call an infrastructure pass. The van is so common, so expected, that it becomes invisible. For investigators, this meant every tip about a white van came with a built-in challenge. How do you find a needle when the entire haystack looks exactly the same? White paint isn't just a blank canvas, it's a shield. On a cargo van, high reflectivity white bounces back up to 80% of the sun's energy, keeping the steel shell cooler by as much as 10 degrees Celsius compared to darker colors. For a vehicle parked for hours on end, that means less need to idle the engine for air conditioning, fewer heat signatures for thermal cameras to pick up, and a quieter, less conspicuous presence during a stakeout. The engineering goes deeper. Windowless steel panels turn the van into a true black box. No prying eyes, no chance for someone to spot movement or equipment through the glass. Law enforcement thermal imaging studies show that after 2 hours in the sun, a white windowless van's surface temperature blends almost perfectly with the background, making it nearly invisible to infrared surveillance. The panels also erase sight lines from every angle, allowing anything or anyone inside to remain hidden. This isn't just about hiding from the public, it's about defeating technology and human attention in one move. Fleet managers order Ford E-Series and Chevy Express vans by the thousands. Each one is built to the same industrial recipe with flat side panels, sliding cargo doors, and a blank, high-gloss white finish. Interiors are modular, fitted with racks, bins, and shelves that can be swapped in minutes. On city streets, these vans blur together, their outlines so uniform that even seasoned police officers struggle to tell them apart. Security camera footage from 2002 shows a parade of identical silhouettes gliding past intersections, each one a moving copy of the next. For witnesses, the challenge is immediate. Describe the van you saw, and the answer is always the same: big, white, boxy, maybe a logo, maybe not. This mass-produced sameness turns the van into a standardized ghost. It is not just hard to remember, it is functionally invisible. In an urban grid packed with twins and triplets, any one van can vanish into the crowd, leaving investigators chasing shadows. Hollywood didn't invent the white van's sinister reputation, but it sure knew how to sell it. By the early 1990s, the creepy white van was already a fixture in American pop culture. The 1991 film Silence of the Lambs gave the trope a starring role. Buffalo Bill lures his victim into a plain, windowless van, turning a workhorse into a rolling trap. Television crime dramas followed suit, with unmarked vans serving as the transport of choice for kidnappers, stalkers, and shadowy government agents. Media studies catalog the phenomenon under labels like the creepy stalker van, a shortcut for danger lurking just out of sight. News stories, true crime shows, even school safety flyers all recycle the same image, the blank white van as the ultimate threat. The result? A cultural reflex. Spot a white van, suspect the worst. By the time the Beltway sniper attacks hit the headlines, the myth was so deeply wired that any white van near a crime scene became the obvious villain, no evidence required. The stereotype didn't just prime the public, it set the stage for real-world investigative errors, blurring the line between fiction and fact. The real power of the white cargo van is not just its mythic reputation, it is the way engineering, psychology, and urban routine combine to erase it from notice. This is the mechanical logic of anonymity. On paper, the white van is a study in sameness. Flat panels, fleet white paint, no windows, modular interiors. But in practice, that sameness weaponizes invisibility. When a city block is lined with identical vans, any single one can disappear into the pattern. A standardized ghost hiding in plain sight. The van's blank walls reflect sunlight, defeat thermal cameras, and block prying eyes, while its silhouette blends with every delivery, every contractor, every city crew. Witnesses remember a shape, a color, maybe a logo, but never a license plate or a face. Law enforcement databases fill with thousands of nearly identical entries, paralyzing the search. The paradox is complete. The more the white van is feared and watched, the more it becomes just another piece of background noise. In a world trained to spot the unusual, the ultimate disguise is perfect, relentless normality. Today, the white van still ghosts through our cities, part infrastructure, part camouflage, pure standardized ghost. The real danger isn't the van itself, but how cognitive bias turns myth into a blind spot. In a world built on sameness, true threats vanish right where we're trained not to look.